Hello, my name is Mark and I'm a student of University of Human Sciences and Humanities. Welcome in the brief psychology roundup, where we are going to take a closer look at the most important figures in the history of psychology. In a nutshell, in today's episode, I will talk about a person who gave a foundation in creation of early psychology as a science, Mr. Wilhelm Wundt. It is not easy to define psychology as a science or to pinpoint the exact moment when psychology even came to be. After all, humans have always studied the complexity of the human mind. Ancient thinkers and philosophers did not shy away from asking existential questions, albeit uncomfortable and controversial for the masses. Why are humans on Earth? How does the world work? These questions seem philosophical for a reason, but it is important to remember that in some respects, psychology stems from philosophy. And the first person to ultimately separate the two was Wilhelm Wundt, or the father of psychology. Wilhelm Wundt was a German philosopher, doctor, scientist, and the man who coined the term psychologist. The title of his most popular book, Principles of Physiological Psychology, from 1874, suggests that Wundt noticed that psychology and biology are actually interrelated. But Wundt still believed that psychology needed to be established as a distinct field of study as he embarked on a remarkable journey through the oddities of the human mind. In 1879, as a professor of the University of Leipzig, Wundt formed the first laboratory of experimental psychology. Luckily, his deeds were as far away from horrific human experiments straight from scary movies as possible. While his colleagues were preoccupied with teaching curious psychology students in their labs, Wundt attempted to broaden one's horizons. Wundt was an innovator, a decomposer of the curiosities and mechanisms of human responses. His thought is called structuralism, for Wundt would break down overwhelmingly massive structures created in the human mind in order to take a closer look at each of the components. Wundt gathered a group of assistants, observers, to conduct experiments on them. Wundt made the observers aware of the fact that they are under scrutiny. He would introduce new stimuli and encourage the participants to focus on their sensations and inner monologues. Wundt dealt with perception, sensory experiences, and subjective approach to the ever-changing world. He prompted people to actually consider the impact that a given variables has on their feelings and emotions. Wundt believed that the concentration and vigilance led to genuine responses and astute observations. He called this practice experimental introspection or internal perception. These terms alone indicate Wundt's interest in humans' inner lives. It seems like Wundt's agenda was twofold. Wundt was taken on examination of responses to stimuli, but also prompted his observers to define feelings and emotions that they experience out loud. Now, isn't that what psychology is all about? Dealing with reactions to everyday variables and humans' general inability to fully bare their souls and express themselves without the fear of being judged harshly. Well, Wundt believed that if accurately prepared for said variables, one is able to endure them and even define and subsequently articulate their sensations. Wundt was not a mad cartoonist scientist with floppy hair and exploding liquids in vials. Wundt contributed to the development of experimental psychology in general. Scientists from different countries went on to form their own experimental psychology labs. His research, albeit experimental, was meticulous and well thought. Thank you for your attention.